you ready?
Yes.
All right. Action.
Good morning, Victor Senior High School. My name is Tristen Bernhardt with the Victor Voice. Today is Friday, November 1st, and it's an A Day. As I'm sure many of you are aware, the election is coming up next week. In light of that, we wanted to create an episode exploring your thoughts on the election process as a whole. I'm here with Mr. Hunkovic, AP Government Teacher, Mr. Musk, Sociology and Government Teacher, and Mr. Purdie, AP US History Teacher. Hello, and thank you for sitting down with me. Multiple students asked why you should care about the election. Mr. Purdie, why should students care?
The election will impact anyone, but I think when you're a kid, you're a little bit less engaged, but you have older people making decisions for younger people that are going to last a really long time.
I think that if we can see the big picture and we can look a short period down the line, when you do the research, there is no issue here that isn't going to impact you, even if it's something that appears to be far away, such as a conflict in the Middle East or even something on our southern border.
Electoral College popped up in many of the questions submitted. Mr. Hunkovic, why do we still use the electoral system as opposed to the popular vote?
Well, the short answer is it's because it's in the Constitution, and without a constitutional amendment, we're going to continue to use the Electoral College because that's what the Founding Fathers put in place. But more so, I think it's important for people to understand there's been a lot of discussion in the news about swing states and how they will ultimately decide the 2024 election. But if you've paid attention in your history class, you know that the way the Electoral College works is within our 50 states. When elections take place within individual states, whoever gets the most amount of votes in that state will get all of the Electoral College points.
Mr. Muscarella, our student body gets its information from a wide variety of sources. How would you recommend students learn about politics?
By taking in a wide variety of sources. It can be very dangerous when you place yourself in a position where either algorithms are dictating the thing that you see, or you've placed yourself in an information bubble where all I take in is the news network that my parents happen to listen to, or the news that my grandmother plays while I'm riding in the car.
Thank you. To all of you, it's fair to say you all think it's important for students to learn about the system of democracy, but many students and teachers feel it's inappropriate or unacceptable to discuss politics in the classroom. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so I don't think it's inappropriate to talk about. I think you need to be careful on how you're doing it. As a student, I would ask, right, if you feel that your teacher needs help, right, being professional, pick an issue that you want to know more about and say, how do prominent Democrats feel about this issue, or what's their opinion on this issue, and how do prominent Republicans feel?
Yeah, great perspective, and I'll just add to that. Like it or not, teachers are in a tremendous position of power over their students, and if we want students to have the courage to have these conversations, which might not be popular conversations, but to look at both sides, I think that teachers must make sure that they remain neutral and they let the students have the voice, and we ourselves as teacher don't set certain agendas or gatekeep certain information because of our political leanings.
So what I try and do is I make a point of demonstrating more of an ethic than trying to shield them from me. I more say, you're probably going to figure out how I would vote or where I sit on an issue. So let's look at some opposing viewpoints.
Thank you. Mr. Hunkovic, we have a tough one for you. What do the candidates have in common?
Both American citizens. It's a great question because I think that kind of connecting back to what Mr. Muscarella and Mr. Purdie said, there is a lot of noise and there's a lot of people that want to pit either side as the enemy. People have more in common than they actually think.
It feels like we're stuck in a never-ending campaign in a divided country. To end on a high note, what still gives you hope?
I just perspective of history that you have this feeling that each election is going to make or break the country and it's impending doom, or possibly we save ourselves last minute. But we've been rolling for a long time. Both parties have made positive contributions.
I'm incredibly hopeful. I think that when you take a step back and you look at what it's like to live in the United States right now in comparison to 50 years ago, 100 years ago, Not that people don't have individual problems, but we're all lucky to be American citizens because of the protections that exist in this country under the Constitution.
I think the thing that gives me hope is that that we're getting offline and we're actually having one-on-one, we're having small group conversations. It's very hard to demonize when we're face-to-face.
Thank you all.
Thanks for having us.
Yo,
Thank you.
That was great.
And a special thank you to Mr. Dunrow and Mrs. Schluter for giving feedback on this process. We at the Victor Voice hope this helped and encourage you to pay attention to politics because it affects our lives, and your voice should be heard, your vote should be counted, and your opinion should matter. This has been Tristen Bernhardt with the Victor Voice signing off.